Hello everyone, Alex here with a quick video. This is my 2002 base model Chevy Cavalier with the 2.2 liter overhead valve engine. And despite the hideous paint job, this car's bodywork is in good shape and there is not a speck of rust on it. And despite having nearly 250,000 miles, it runs nearly flawlessly. So today I'm going to be showing you how to change the oil. And from what I've heard, the most popular method of accessing the oil filter on this car is to jack up the side, remove the front passenger side tire and part of the wheel well, and reach it through the side. But I don't particularly like putting the car on jack stands while I'm under it, and I like ramps a little better, and I will show you why. So now I will position the ramps and drive the car up onto it. And now going under the car, going back, you'll see the starter. And here is your oil pan right here. And there is the bolt right there that you'll want to be taking out. And this is the bolt you'll want to remove right here. It is right on the back of the oil pan in front of the transmission pan. And this bolt is 15 millimeters. So just get your socket or your wrench on there, break it free, and have something ready to catch the oil. I've just got an old bucket here, so I'm going to thread this bolt the rest of the way out. You'll see the oil starting to come out. See, this is actually a magnetic drain bolt to catch little metal shavings, which I don't see any of on that, so that's good. So I'm going to let the oil all drain out. And as you guys can see, the oil has finished draining out. So I'm going to thread back in my drain plug. And this oil drain bolt gets torqued down to 15 foot-pounds. And if you don't have a torque wrench, that's just a little past snugged down. And the big thing you might have noticed when we were under the car is the oil filter is nowhere to be seen. And that's because it is mounted on the side of the engine, right up against the firewall in the hardest possible place to reach. So I will be showing you my preferred method of getting to it, and it's the method that I consider to be the easiest. And this is the oil filter you're going to need. It's AC Delco filter PF47E, and you can also get other brands of these that'll fit in the car, but this one's only $3 or $4 and it's the original equipment, so I will just be installing this. And our oil filter is located right under this stuff. This 2002 was manufactured late in the model year, so the placement of this cruise control module and ECU might be different. On a lot of other Cavaliers I've seen, this was not placed here, and you could just access the oil filter without having to remove anything. But on mine, it's mounted here, so I will show you how to remove this real quick so you can get your arm in there and get the oil filter. And first I will remove the cruise control module right here. There are two nuts holding it in, one right here and one right here. So this nut here is 15 millimeters, so it should just come out pretty easily. Actually, I can just hand thread this off. And this nut right here is 13 millimeters. but we'll want to be careful here because these two nuts are also your upper strut mount. So I will be removing them one at a time. So we'll just remove this nut here. And then just carefully lift the cruise control module, set it out of the way. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the nut and I'm going to put it back on so that there are at least two nuts holding the strut on at all times, because I just put new struts on this and I had it aligned. And when you do this, you don't want to mess up your alignment, so just put one of the two, just put the nut on you take back off. And next you'll want to remove the ECU right here. There are two bolts to hold it on. There is one here and there is one back here, but on mine the nut for that is long missing, so it's just held in by one right here. So once again we'll remove it. And when you remove the ECU, just be very careful to just lift it out of the way, not kink or damage any of these wires here. This is the throttle wire for your cruise control, so just be careful there. So if you look in here behind the power steering pump, see it right there on the right hand side of the frame? That is the oil filter. The blue thing down there, and that is in a really bad spot. So what you gotta do, and sorry for the bad camera angle, but there's no way to get a better one, is snake your arm down in there, grab onto it, and summon every ounce of raw strength in your body to try to turn that thing off. It's not even easy to get a hold of it. And I've actually managed to find you guys a slightly better camera angle, so maybe you could tell what's going on. And I got very, very lucky that time, and that wasn't stuck on there too bad at all. So what you're going to need to do is, here's our new filter. See, it's the exact same as the old one. And this is very important. Take some of the oil, old oil, and put it on the little sealing O-ring on the new oil filter. You know, just pour a little bit out of the old filter and give this a very, very generous coating. Because if there is an oil filter that you don't want to get stuck, this is it. If this thing gets stuck in there, it's gonna ruin your life trying to get it out. So it's now time to put it back in, so snake it down in there. And just snug that down, just hand tight. Don't want to make it too tight or it'll get stuck, but you know, just make sure it's good to seal. And back up top, we'll start putting everything back together. So first to go in is the ECU. Just line it up on its little studs. Get the nut and thread it on. And the upper strut mounting nuts get torqued to 18 foot-pounds. So next we'll put back on the cruise control module, first taking off that nut we placed back on earlier. So line the 2 holes on the bracket up with the 2 studs, the one down here and the one up here. Thread our nut on. And this one gets torqued to 18 foot-pounds as well. And the 15 millimeter nut right here doesn't really need to get torqued to anything. So just screw it on and snug it up nice and good. So our last step, of course, is to fill the car with fresh oil. I'm using high mileage 5W30. So just remove the combination dipstick and filler cap, put your funnel in, and fill it up. And you'll see here that the manual calls for 4 quarts for the 2.2 liter LN2 engine, which is this one, which tends to be a little on the low side in my opinion, so fill it up to that. Put the car back on the ground and check the oil level. So I'll just start filling it up. There's about a quart left in the bottle, so I'll pour a little more in. Then we'll start her up, put the car back on the ground, and then check the oil level, because as I said, 4 quarts seems to be a little on the low side for this car. Put back in the dipstick and cap, and close the hood. So now I'm going to bit the car off the ramps and get it onto flat ground. So with the car parked on what is the flattest spot in my yard, I'm going to lift up the hood and check our oil. And like I said, say we put 4 quarts in, and that's barely on the first mark of the dipstick. That's why I said 4 quarts seems a little low for this car, so I'm going to add the rest to that bottle. And as you see, we are now full on the dipstick, and like I said, I've always ended up adding 5 quarts when I change the oil in this car, and it's always full no matter what temperature I check at after I've added 5 quarts. So like I said, put the 4 quarts in like the book says, then lower the car down, check the level, and fill it up as needed. So the last thing I'm going to do is funnel the old oil into the bottle to take it to recycle. So I hope this information has been helpful to you all today. This procedure will be the same on most other model year Cavaliers and the Pontiac Sunfire. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and if you'd like to stick around to that, have a nice day.